Hey guys, and welcome into the channel. I wanted to quickly offer up an apology for these reviews being so late. Obviously, it's Thursday morning, afternoon, whatever you want to say. And I'm just now uploading my Smackdown review from Tuesday. And, if you didn't see my Raw review on Monday, I am new to YouTube. This is actually my second video. The Raw one was my first. And I'm a cheap bastard, to be honest with you. And I'm trying to upload these videos from like a little small phone. And it's created some problems. But I think that I've figured some things out. And I think everything should be good from here on out. And the videos should all be up on time from now on. But we'll get right into the show. Smackdown, it was July 26th, 2016. The show came to us from Buffalo, New York. The show starts out with Shane and Bryan backstage. They're like behind the curtain. And they come out and they like introduce you to the new Smackdown era, I guess is what they were trying to make it look as if it was what was happening. The superstars are all in the ring, except for one, Dean Ambrose. They introduce Dean Ambrose. He comes out to his theme song. He comes out, and he's trying to act like cool. Like that's his character, And he walks up, and he asks Shane who's going to be the first to challenge him for his title. Bryan says the 6 men will compete in a six-pack challenge, and the winner would go on to face Ambrose at SummerSlam. And I was thinking to myself, this is a good concept. I like this. Just like on Raw with the 2 Fatal 4 matches, it's something you don't see all that often. So I was liking it, and I thought like I said, I thought it was a good concept. They announced 5 of the 6 men that'll be in the six-pack challenge, but they say that the 6th person will have to earn their way into it, which is another thing I like. But thinking about it, they announced John Cena, AJ Styles, Bray Wyatt, Baron Corbin, and Dolph Ziggler. So when they announced the names, we got Cena and Ziggler, who are faces, and you have Corbin, Wyatt, and Styles, who are heels. So going into this Battle Royal, because that was how, I didn't mention it, that was how they were going to decide who the 6th person was. They were going to have a Battle Royal, and the winner of that was going to be entered in as the 6th man into the six-pack challenge. Well, just by the 5 that they announced, you knew there was more likely it was going to be a face who was going to win the Battle Royal, so it would be 3-3 for the six-pack challenge. And sure enough, the Battle Royal gets underway. A lot of jobbers in the ring, a lot of guys that you just you knew weren't going to win. Guys who were part of tag teams who weren't going to break away from their tag teams and weren't going to win. So watching it, I had a few guys that I thought could win. And ultimately, Kane dominated much of the match. He's got the reputation of being so good in Royal Rumbles. They certainly showcased that here. They even made reference to it. But, I thought this match really did showcase the lack of depth on the SmackDown roster. You took the big 5 out, obviously by not having them in that Battle Royal, you took them out. And you were left with, a few good mid-card guys, but a lot of jobbers. And that really showcased the lack of depth on SmackDown that we had talked about right after the draft. But the Final 4 ended up being Apollo Crews, Kane, Zack Ryder, and who was the other dude? Who was it? It Kane, Apollo Crews, Zack Ryder, and Kalisto. That was your Final 4. And first I want to say, Kane had some, like I said, had a really good match. But Zack Ryder, I think he had 2 botches during this match. And, there was a part of me that was wondering, was he going to win? Because I actually did think he might be the winner of this match. And I was thinking to myself, if this guy wins, my oh my, it would just look bad that this guy if he went on to win the match, because just 2 horrific botches during. I don't know if, I'm sure anybody that's watching this review saw the match and noticed those botches. So I did not think it was a good performance by Ryder whatsoever. Apollo Crews had some really good moments, and he goes on to win the match. He eliminates Kane. And so Apollo Crews, a guy that I feel as if they may have brought up a little prematurely. He came up, well before a lot of these other guys. And there's no denying this guy's ripped, this guy's strong, this guy's super athletic. His signature thing is he does the backflip. And, this guy's very good in the ring. My thing is, what kind of character does he have? If he ever gets a push, what type of guy is he going to be? Can he be a guy who can talk on the mic? Can he be a part of great feuds? I don't know. I'm not saying that he can't, because I really truly don't know. And I'm interested to see what he can do outside of being a good wrestler. Then we get a video package. Shelton Benjamin is going to be returning. A lot of people are huge Shelton Benjamin fans. I've heard a really positive reaction about this, which you would figure. But he'll be back, and he'll be on SmackDown. So that is something that's cool. Add a little depth to the roster for sure. Then we have another match. We have Becky Lynch taking on Natalya. A rematch of what we saw at Battleground. Becky Lynch and Natalya wasn't into their match at Battleground, to be quite honest with you. I didn't think it was horrible, but did I think it was a great match that needed to be repeated? No. But I'm not surprised that it was repeated because the lack of depth on the women's division on SmackDown. Most of the big name divas are on Raw. But Natalya won a Battleground, so it makes sense. Becky Lynch wins the match tonight. She wins it by submission. She had like the arm bar. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but it was like an arm bar. And Natalya taps. I like Becky Lynch. Natalya is a pretty good in-ring competitor, but I'm just ready to see something different. I'm sick of seeing these guys, these women fight one-on-one. I don't necessarily know what is in store for these people, but we'll see. After the match, Alexa Bliss, Naomi, Carmella, Eva Marie, they all come out and basically just generically say they're going to dominate SmackDown. I guess it was okay because you got to see Alexa Bliss, Carmella. You got to see some of the new faces on SmackDown in the Divas division. If you didn't watch the draft, you wouldn't even know who these women are, more than likely, and you wouldn't even know they're on SmackDown. So I thought it served a purpose, and we'll see where it goes from where this goes. We'll see. Then we have Miz and Maurice. They're in the ring for the Miz TV segment. It was kind of funny, I guess. Miz proceeds to interview himself. I thought this was kind of interesting. Miz is really good on the mic. He can make you laugh. There's no doubt about it. But Randy Orton comes out and interrupts him. They go on to exchange words. Randy Orton tries to make some jokes. He makes a statement that we see who is the pitcher and the catcher in the relationship between Miz and Maurice. Just the crowd, makes the ooh noise or whatever. I wasn't super into this segment, and for the one reason is because I knew where it was going to lead to, and it was going to lead to a match, which it did. Randy Orton challenges Miz to a match. Miz denies at first, but then Randy Orton pisses Maurice off, and then Maurice accepts it for Miz, and they have their match. Nothing real special. It was just a way to get Randy Orton back in the ring. Obviously, we all know he's facing Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, and this was just a way to get him a match. Maybe shake off a little bit of the ring rust. Randy Orton wins. Not a great match. Not really much to say. But my thing about this match, the thing I did not like is, I talked about it on my review of Raw last week, or this past Monday night, and that was when Rusev got pinned in that first Fatal 4-Way match. I did not like it because he is your U.S. champion. It's a new era. He's holding one of the mid-card titles, and by having him get pinned by, ironically, 3 other guys who have no championships, it makes that title seem unimportant. And here tonight, you have Miz, Intercontinental Champion. Randy Orton. Now it's Randy Orton, but he is holding no title. And, you just have Randy Orton beat him in a short, 8, 9, 10-minute match. And Miz didn't look good at all. And what does it do? It buries the Intercontinental title. Now, I know it's been buried forever, and it'll probably never come back to what it once was. But the fact of the matter is, it's supposed to be a new era, and this is something I want. So the fact that it's not happening, it bugs me. And it always will. You have so many legends that held that title, and it's just a joke now. But, whatever. After that, you have Heath Slater. He comes out. He's in the ring complaining about not being drafted to either brand. And I thought this was funny. I've always thought Heath Slater, albeit I don't think he's anything over the top in the ring, he's a funny guy and he serves a purpose on the show. And anytime he's got the mic, I'm open to listening, and I typically do get a few chuckles out of it. More than you could say for a lot of the other guys. But Shane comes out. They go back and forth. Shane basically tells him he can submit a resume, and which is stupid. I mean, whether he got drafted or not, he's working for WWE, we know. So I thought that was stupid. But Heath Slater goes on and says that he's got a resume. All you got to do is check out the WWE Network, and you can see he was the leader of the Nexus. He was leader of the Core. He was leader of 3MB. He was the leader of the Social Outcasts. I thought that was funny. I mean, because, the Nexus was pretty good at a point. He wasn't the leader of it, but it was pretty good. The Core was just a cheap rip-off version of the Nexus. Was never into that. 3MB, Social Outcasts, those were just jokes. But so really, it was funny when he said that because all those groups sucked, except for the Nexus for a short period of time. But as this is going on, you can see behind Heath Slater that Rhino is behind him, and it's just they're drawing a little bit, like a minute or two, and then Heath Slater turns around and he gets gored by Rhino, which I thought was pretty cool. Not a huge fan of Rhino. Obviously, he's pretty old at this point, but he's returning, and again, I'm taking it he's going to be on SmackDown. So again, just like Benjamin, it adds depth to the roster, which is desperately needed on SmackDown. So I liked it. I'm more excited about Benjamin than I am Rhino, but we'll see how it goes. Fucking shirt. I have 2 shirts on, and this undershirt is itching the hell out of my neck, and it's bugging me. But now to the main event. You had the 6-pack challenge. You had Bray Wyatt, Apollo Crews, Baron Corbin, AJ Styles, Dolph Ziggler, and John Cena all taking part in this match. And I would like to say this match was pretty good. Although, of course, you have these damn commercials that interrupt the action. But overall, I thought it was a good match. I don't know if I said this in my Raw review, but my favorite guy in the company at this point is Bray Wyatt. And not only is he a good in-ring worker, he's not the best in-ring worker in the company, but he is a good in-ring worker. But I love his character. He's one of the few that has a character, and I think he pulls it off flawlessly. And I've always wanted to see him be the top heel in the company and get that title push, and it hasn't happened. And I was kind of open, with Cena and Styles probably facing off at SummerSlam. I didn't expect either of them to win, to be honest. So I really kind of thought to myself, Bray Wyatt was going to win this match. It would make sense. You got Dean Ambrose as the face, and with Styles being involved with Cena, Wyatt's your next biggest heel in the company. So I figured Wyatt, Ambrose, face heel at SummerSlam. But that's not what we got. We got, for me, just an absolute surprise. I couldn't believe it. Dolph Ziggler hits the super kick on AJ Styles and pins AJ Styles 1, 2, 3. And for maybe 2-3 seconds, I was so shocked. Like, I didn't say anything. I like Dolph Ziggler, and I've liked him for years and years. But the fact of the matter is, Dolph Ziggler's, in my opinion, time has passed. He should have been something 3-4 years ago, and he wasn't. So I feel like WWE's already missed the boat on him. And I really don't know how this is going to work out. How are we supposed to take him seriously? He's been a joke for a long time now, at least a few years. And there's some that would ask, has he ever not truly been a joke? I like Dolph, though. So, he puts on great matches. He's a great seller. He doesn't really have much of a character, and I don't think he's overly great on the mic, but for sure he puts on good matches. But not only was I surprised that he won, but I was also surprised that they had him pin AJ Styles. That was weird. You would have thought he would have pinned, whether it be Crews or Corbin. I would have said Corbin would have been the logical guy for him to pin, but they go with him pinning AJ Styles. It was a good match. Obviously, I was shocked, which makes it seem even better. Bray Wyatt did his spider walk, which I love. I love the spider walk. It's sick. You, at home, if you're watching this video, you try to do that spider walk right now. And comment below if you can do it, because I sure as hell can. And this is a guy who's, he's a big guy. And to be able to do that just shows how athletic he is. The thing I didn't like about the match was Cena hitting his 12 attitude adjustments. I've seen enough of those attitude adjustments. I'm sick and tired of seeing them. If anyone was going to get pinned by Ziggler, although it wouldn't have made sense, I would have loved to have seen Cena get pinned for him, or get pinned by him, but that didn't happen. So we got Dolph Ziggler and Dean Ambrose going to face off at SummerSlam. And at first, like I said, I was so surprised. It was like, what? But then I thought to myself, these two guys are great workers, and this is going to be a really good match. And you think of, what happened on Raw with Balor and Rollins. That's going to be a great match. Orton and Lesnar. I think that'll be a good match. Ambrose and Ziggler. That'll be a good match. Styles and Cena will probably even be a good match. Sasha and Charlotte. That'll be a good match. So SummerSlam's really it looks as if it's going to be a really good show with a lot of really good matches. And You know, obviously, I would think Dean is going to beat Ziggler. I'd be really shocked if he didn't. But, and he should win. But, overall, SummerSlam is looking like it's going to be a good show. And, the thing I'm looking for is I'm interested to see what they do with Enzo and Cass on Raw. And I'm interested to see what they do with Bray Wyatt now. I'm disappointed that Bray didn't win. I mean, it just makes me feel like, you know, they'd rather have Dolph Ziggler in a face-face matchup than have Bray Wyatt be the top heel and face off with Dean Ambrose. Now, obviously, Dean Ambrose is probably going to retain, so maybe it's good that Wyatt didn't win. And maybe that'll come down the road, and Wyatt can actually win the title after Ambrose has had it for a while. So maybe it'll be a good thing. But all in all, this SmackDown, in my opinion, wasn't great. I liked the idea, like I said, of the six-pack challenge. The match was pretty good. I liked that Shelton Benjamin would be returning. But outside of that, I really wasn't that into the show. How many matches were there? There was 1, 2, 3... Is there just 4? There's 4 matches on the entire show. I mean, I know it's an hour shorter, but Raw, compared to SmackDown this week, it was not on the same level. Raw really shined. SmackDown, not so much. I'm hoping that SmackDown can be a little better next week. Obviously, we got the package of the American Alpha Tag Team. We didn't see them tonight. They'll definitely improve the show. Great workers in the ring, and I'm excited to see what they do with them. But, you know, after the draft, we talked about the lack of depth on SmackDown compared to Raw, and it really shined through in this first week. So, overall, I'd rate the SmackDown a 4 out of 10. I give Raw an 8 out of 10, so, you know, you're seeing how much less I liked SmackDown, but good for Dolph. We'll see where it goes. And all in all, we know no matter what, no matter if the feud is shit, no matter if the build-up is shit, at the end of the day, at SummerSlam, Dolph and Ambrose will deliver in the ring. So, and not really much else to say. Hopefully SmackDown will be better next week. But either way, I'm happy to be here on YouTube now, and happy to be. I'm happy to have figured out how to upload these videos consistently, and I'll be back for sure for my Raw review in a few days. But you never know. I might drop a video here in between then and now, and now that I know how to do it, I may just do it just for the heck of it. But thanks for tuning in to anyone that watches this video, guys. It really means a lot to me. And if this is the first video you're seeing, if you want to go back and check out the Raw review, it's up. And, just tell anyone you know about the channel if you like it. If you don't, that's fine. But thanks for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks, guys. I'm out.